Good morning, YouTube. Playing games on an unsupported PC. We have an Acer Aspire on the desk over here. Right there. Okay, that's good enough. You saw it. It's ugly. Anyways, so I'm just using this screen. So, over to this one. I'm only getting about 16, sometimes 20 frames per second if I'm lucky. And that's about as high as we've gotten so far. 16 gigs of RAM in this computer, i3 processor, 256 SSD, and the processor is a 1.9 gigahertz dual core, okay, and built-in Intel graphics, which is stealing 2 gigs of my system RAM out of the 16. Now, the game here, core, is the application, okay, and there's about 50,000 games in this app, okay. And one of them is my favorite, Island Survival Alpha. So sorry if you're tired of it, but I'm not. Anyway, lowest graphics setting, 1366 by 768, is the best resolution we can get on to my 4K display with the game. Now I can still get 4K graphics on my display with certain games, okay, especially the old ones like the original Far Cry. And it runs pretty good, okay. Its best setting is actually around medium graphics, but it will play on high without any real problem, but it is better on medium. I have no idea what kind of FPS I'm getting on that game. I'm going to have to install the, what do you call that, friggin' Xbox thing, for doing screen recordings, and it'll actually track FPS. Anyway, but this one here, I mean, we can check FPS by just hitting in the F2 key. Now we're up to 17. Now, the game itself wants 8 gigs of RAM minimum. It wants a minimum of an i5 chip. Core actually does say in their specs that the Core app is not supported at all by an i3 processor or any built-in graphics. It has to be an NVIDIA graphic 1060, I think it is, or AMD equivalent or better, okay? And the same with the recommended for that, okay? Recommended RAM is 16 gigs, but they want 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. They want the NVIDIA or AMD equivalent, okay? And they definitely want an i5 chip, okay? They will not support the i3, but apparently it's running on an i3 chip here, okay? I swear it is an i3, okay? If you've seen my review video on this Acer Aspire, you know damn well it's an i3 chip. Anyways, but it's running. Now, might not be the greatest FPS, might not be the greatest graphics. This is the lowest setting at 60% resolution quality. The game always defaults when you fire up Core to the low settings, obviously on this computer, and 50%. Now sometimes on 50% resolution quality, we get all of our trees and crap we're growing, and I get my box, and I get my fire burning, which actually still looks pretty good. But sometimes we don't, and then we got to switch to 60% resolution, reset the game when we exit out of there, and it'll automatically recycle it, and then we get our stuff. Right? Then sometimes we can actually take it from there and drop it back to 50%, reset, and we gain FPS, because every time you change that resolution quality, you actually lose frames per second, okay? And same, if you want to try and go for higher main resolution, well, if your computer can pull it off, fine, but if not, you're stuck on its bottom of what it would be on its built-in display. Now, playing between the built-in display and nothing attached to the HDMI port, of course, FPS does not change, okay? I have my display set at 1440p on the Windows environment side, and I can take it down to 1366, does not matter. I can chalk it to 4K, it makes no difference. I'm not going to see any difference in gameplay here, okay? So I've done a lot of thorough testing. Now, even though I'm a 60 hertz display, and Windows is set at 60 hertz on the resolution I'm on, the game is only going to run at about 30 hertz, because that's all the computer's main display puts out, and it's only going to let this play at 30 hertz out of the 60. if you get what I'm laying down here, if you're following me, okay? However, as far as playability goes, even at 60% resolution quality, even though there's going to be some choppiness, you won't really exhibit, you're not going to see screen tearing per se, but what you do is you see frame jumping, okay? At times. It actually does show. And it's kind of weird, but, you know, it's not all the time. The FPS goes up and down. So, I've dropped this thing as low as 8 frames per second. Now, that's pretty sluggy compared to, you know, 16 or 20, but the game will still play, you can still kill things, and you can still survive. Okay, that's the big thing here, surviving. So if you do come across a game or games that, you know, when you look at the specs and, oh, it doesn't support this, and that's all you have, try it anyway. What the frig? As long as you got 16 gigs of RAM in your computer, I'm running Windows 10 because this computer will not support 11, natively at least. You can hack it in if you want, but you're going to really destroy FPS doing that because Windows 11 is a bit of a hog, and it's especially a massive RAM hog compared to Windows 10. So you might want to hold off on going to 11 right now, especially on a really low-end machine, right? And even if your low-end machine supports 11, you may have a worse experience than what I am, because this is just a dual-core 1.9 gigahertz chip in this thing, and I mean, it's not fantastic or anything. I've done some amazing shit with like really low spec computers, like for the processor. Like I've had quad core 1 gigahertz machines, I've had dual core 1.1s, 1.2s, and I've actually been able to play games that literally should not even play, and they played really well, in fact. But the big thing was RAM. I had an old HP, I can't even remember how, it was really low spec, and I think it was a quad core, but it was like 1 point something gigahertz or somewhere, I don't know, it was really low. Onboard graphics, 16 gigs of RAM, Cyberpunk would not install. It came up with a sarcastic message too, when I tried. And then I threw 32 gigs of RAM in the sucker, and Cyberpunk installed. It played. I think I got about maybe 10 or 20 frames per second. It was pathetic, but still kind of, sort of. It's not like I'd want to really play the game much. It was really pathetic, but the fact that it did it was freaking outstanding. Okay, and that's where I feel the same about this. At least for now, I can play my game till I can get a new computer. But still, it's like, this is playable. I've been doing well. I'm at level freaking 12 already. I've been helping other people and fighting with other people to, you know, go against the enemies, because this is a co-op game, so we help each other. We're not allowed to actually harm each other in the game. That's why it's person versus enemy only. And it's like, that is like freaking cool that, you know, I can battle with people, and I can battle enemies even by myself and live to tell the tale. You know what I mean? Now, part of that, of course, is thanks to I know a lot of different things about this game. And if you check out my playlist on Island Survival Alpha, which is also where this one's located, as well as the main, you can use peaches to overjack your health. So my health is 290 right now. Stamina is bananas, and the watermelons are your best source of food and thirst, combined in one. Okay? So that's kind of where it works. It's like the 3 main food groups that you grow and use the most of. The other foods are just beneficials for when you can cook at level 17, which I think is pathetic. Random Phantom needs to lower that down like way lower before we can actually cook. But also we are waiting for another update that still has not come to fruition yet. We still have not seen that update. So Random, get off your butt, would you? Like, dude, we all want this update we've heard about. Yeah, me especially. Because I'm like, I want more out of this game, man. I bought 2 of these accounts. My wife bought an account. Yeah, and so did millions of other people. And we all want like more. And you got to give us more because we need more. You know, like there is more you could do to expand this, right? So much more. This game could just, you know, add more islands, add some underground stuff, you know, something, you know, getting us some more levels too would be great too, but making it a lot more challenging too to extend to those levels. You know what I mean? There's a lot more potential to this game, bottom line, guys. And I really hope that Random does continue to do it. And we do see another update soon would be great. Anyways, it is what it is for now. It's a fantastic game, though. I've reset this account I don't know how many times. I've reset my middleman account a few times, which is a paid account. This is my freebie. My main account, though, I've never reset, and I never will, because that's my God account. Anyways, we'll talk about what a God account is in another video. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But, you know, don't be afraid to try games out. Just because your computer is not up to snuff for certain parts of it, even on the minimum, try it anyway. You know, you might get some playability. You know, considering Manticore Games does not even support an i3, and this thing is running on an i3, that says something. This is, like, really cool, right? But I hope to get more low-end laptops here and there down the road, just to try experiments like this to see how far we can really push this stuff. I mean, we all want to know those answers, right? And especially me, and I love messing around with computers. So anyhow, that's what I got for you on this one, but do stay tuned. We'll talk about the God account, and tell you what that's all about, or the God game. We'll give it some interesting title for you regardless. Do stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this video. Where are we sitting right now? 14 FPS. I mean, and like I said, it's playable. I have no problem battling things or anything. It's been fine. I do find the gliders a little tricky though because of the slower frame rate. That is something that's tricky for landing sequences and stuff, but I mean, what do you expect? We're not even pushing 20 frames per second. We need at least 30, 35 to be a little bit more enjoyable. But the graphic quality is still really good at low. With the resolution quality chalked back quite a bit, it's still doing pretty good, so thumbs up there. Comments go down below. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Really helps me out a lot too. And thanks, and see you on the next one.